All right, welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. Got a very, very special guest stepping inside Square Circle this weekend. SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer. He is the longest reigning intercontinental champion in the history of the WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, Gunther. How you doing, man?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me, Booker. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, man, I'm doing real good, man. I just want to thank you, man. I want to thank you for, when I came back at the Rumble and you didn't give me that chop. You didn't give me that. Thank you. I thought about it. I said, man, should I? I was like, now get me the hell up out of here quick. But no, man. You're stepping inside the ring this weekend, SummerSlam, against Damien Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. But before we get there, man, before we get to the World Heavyweight Championship, I want to talk about the transformation of Gunther. I'm just wondering, man, do you ever, like look in the mirror or look at old photos and say, man, like where'd that guy go? Or who's that guy? Do you ever do that?
When I see old pictures now, I'm a bit shocked. Like I never felt the way I looked, if that makes sense. And I don't feel dramatically different now, to be honest. I guess you get adjusted to it. But now when you're trying to stay in shape and keep to maintain that, and as you know, I guess there's like a whole nother hustle to that. When the slightest change in the wrong direction, you automatically freak out about it. It's like, oh my God, you look like shit. But at the end of the day,
No, I get it, man. I'm on a salad diet right now.
oh my gosh.
I'm serious.
So you feel me.
I'm serious. I put my suit on last week and it was a little tight around the mix section. I said, man, I got to go on a diet, man. I do not want to get fat in my old age. But you say you don't feel much different. You don't feel much different after losing that much weight. I'm talking about in ring.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I got maybe a little bit more agile and a little bit more mobile. But overall, like when it comes to like stamina and stuff like that, I always like never really had an issue with that. But obviously, I just prefer the presence I have right now compared to before. But I think it was a good timing to make the change. It all fell in place at the right time.
You always thought you was going to be a huge star here, in America. Once you got here, I always said, guys that if their name got there before they do, it's something about them. Your thought process, I had, guys that I looked at that I wanted to emulate and wanted to be like, who was the guy that you watched that, pretty much formulated your style?
When I became a professional wrestler, it was more like the 90s All Japan. That was like the my main influence. I always liked like coming back to the look. I always kind of like looked at Stan Hansen and like
Yeah.
Terry Gordy and Gary Albright, Steve Williams, like those guys, like guys that don't look like a bodybuilder. They look more like some the next door's butcher, like somebody he's strong and you better don't mess with him.
Yeah.
Uh, I always thought there's something to that look, and especially like obviously because I watched all of that and it was a big influence for me. Um, that's why I kind of like felt comfortable in that role, I think. But yeah, I would name them as like my main influence. Obviously, like Kobashi as well, and a bunch of other greats during that era. But yeah, that was my main influence.
A word that gets thrown out about you when people bring up Gunther, they use this term believability. They say that you're believable inside that squared circle. You bring an authenticity to your craft. Why do you think that's a word that gets thrown around with you a lot?
Yeah, because that's what I'm seeking out to do. Like that's what I'm focusing on, right? I mean, it's 2024 now. Everybody knows what we do is scripted. It's sports entertainment. But I always wanted to make it my goal. Like my goal was always like when I walk to the ring, that the people's reaction is like, okay, now it's getting real. Like now we're in for something special. And I always try to get the people to forget about the fact that what we do is entertainment and just be in the moment and make them feel for my opponent. And that's what I'm always aiming for. And I think over the time, that's what made me stand out from the pack a little bit, because the whole business was, especially in the indies, was going like in a different direction. And that was always my approach to it.
Yeah, man. I tell you, you definitely have bring a realism to the game, just like you said there just a second ago with the the card. You had that fan sitting there, and he goes, "Man, you saw all those matches? Now watch this one." Oh man, this guy. That's what I always tried to bring out the fan. I always wanted the fan leaving the arena saying, "Man, I don't want to get hit by one of those Gunther chops." You know what I mean? That's no, I'm serious. That's the way you make fans. It's not just about seeing; it's about making them feel.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's like get them subconsciously react to it in a way where it's like, oh my god, like now we're in a whole different game now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I tell you, man, just like that chop you throw, I used to try to make sure I threw a chop and I would be as close to the fans as possible to make sure all the sweat went on the front row.
yes, 100%. I think that's a great visual when you look at some of those matches where a lot of chops are thrown and the sweat just flies. It's a great effect to it.
You're not a big social media guy, I don't think, right? You're not like blowing up on social media. What do you think about social media and the way guys use social media these days?
I would say I'm not. Like I do what's necessary. It's like part of the deal now to promote yourself on social media platforms. But I think in general on the internet, I'm not a oversharing person. Like I like to keep some stuff to myself. And I don't know. I've never believed in engaging with the fans on there and discussing, and because I feel like mostly it's not genuine interaction anyway, because I would say 95% of the people that are really active on social media, they communicate completely different on that platform than they would in person.
Yeah.
So it's what's the point? I think, and it keeps. I always thought for myself, the further, like the more mysterious I keep myself, the more unreachable I keep myself, the better that is, and the better like I think that suits the persona I represent. It would be. I think it would be a little bit. Would feel a little bit off if I would be out there tweeting back to everybody about this and that.
I have a saying, the Undertaker would not have been the Phenom if he was the Phenom on Monday night, and on Thursday night he was the chef on Twitch.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's yes.
No, you're getting ready to step into a big match with Damien Priest. Damien Priest has been doing a hell of a job. He's been doing a hell of a job, and
Yes.
I would be remiss. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you some tough questions. WrestleMania 19, I had the pleasure to wrestle Triple H. A lot of people thought, I was going to win that match. It was a lot of touchy promos back and forth. And you happen to have, reignited, my thoughts for WrestleMania 19 with, what you're doing with Damien Priest right now. How real is this match going into SummerSlam with Damien Priest?
I think very much, because we, for different reasons, have to prove ourselves. What we have in common is definitely that we are two guys that really stepped into the spotlight during the Triple H era now. But I think that's about it. I think we come from very different paths in our career. So I think it's for both of us, it's a big match, maybe the biggest in our careers. And we need to prove ourselves. And I think once it got announced, it felt like very cold because we didn't really have any history so far. But I think over the last weeks, we managed to get people really interested in that, because I always believe like real life issues or real life topics or problem situations that people can relate to, that is something that is great to use in the professional wrestling aspect to get people involved, because people attached to the stories, because everybody can relate to that. Everybody can relate that somebody that doesn't come from the most fortunate background works his way up, and on the other side there's somebody waiting who didn't have it at heart, and he's all about crushing those dreams. And I think that's a story that a lot of people feel in their real lives too, maybe even like on a smaller scale, if it's at work or in their free time, in their hobby, when they're in a club and they want to go make the next step. So I think the table is set for SummerSlam.
The last time I can remember.
Go ahead, Brad.
I'm sorry. The last time I was going to say a King of the Ring went on to win the World Heavyweight title in the summer was 18 years ago, and it happened to be this man right here, King Booker,
wow.
to do it.
Wow, I forgot about that.
What does that title of King of the Ring mean to you, Gunther?
Oh, it's a great accomplishment. I think I've always been a big fan of tournaments. I always enjoyed professional wrestling out of the competitive aspect. So the King of the Ring, like when I knew I'm gonna be in there and I'm gonna go all the way, I was excited for that, because that's like I said, it's a format that's I'm really excited about. And then especially to the King of the Ring, there's a lot of history, and it's in many cases it's if you're able to win the King of the Ring, that's a career-changing or life-changing happening. It's a big opportunity. And I was aware of that, and got me to SummerSlam now. So it was a big deal for me to win the tournament.
Like Brad said, you're on the precipice of becoming perhaps world champion, just like I did. And the thing is, winning the world championship after becoming the King of the Ring, like I said, I'm the only one that's done that. You will be number two. You'll be number two. You won't be the first. You won't be the first. You won't be the first this time, but you'll be definitely a runner-up. Like I said, you got this big match, but ultimate goal, before I let you get out of here, what's your ultimate goal? Is to become, the longest reigning heavyweight champion of all time? What is your ultimate goal here in the WWE? And before you answer that question, my ultimate goal was to retire and get the hell out.
I think at some point that's the struggle in our careers. It's obviously the ultimate goal is for me, or to set myself and my family up, and at some point to be able to step away on my terms and be like, I've done my bit and that's it, but I'm not there yet. So I gotta focus on the here and now. And what the goal is maybe I don't even have a goal, because my whole career, the only focus I had was I want to be the best professional wrestler I can be. And WWE was never on my horizon. That was so far away when I came up in Europe. That was never realistic. So it was never really a consideration. So now, step by step, over the years, so many things happened, and now I'm in the midst of it. But obviously, at the end of the day, the reason why we step in that ring is to be a champion, to be at the top. So I'm aiming for that. And I'm just going to focus on trying as good as I can be and trying to get better and better over the course of that and become a better wrestler each time I step into the ring.
That was a perfect answer, man. And I tell you, you got to huge chance to do that here at SummerSlam against Damien Priest. Good luck on your conquest, man. And
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I want to thank you for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, giving us a little piece of the action, man. A little champagne wishes, a little caviar dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Gunther. We'll be back in a minute.
Thank you.